Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGenEd and the After Hours update for Wednesday, October 15th. Happy hump day, everybody. And so, yeah, it's been kind of a crazy day in the markets and also, at work for me. So I haven't really been paying too close attention, but it does seem like there has been some volatility in it. Thought I'd go over that and really just kind of catch up on what's going on. There are some bookmarks that I have in X that I might check out. And one thing that I did notice when I was on lunch break looking over at some data is that we saw some net call premium increasing a lot yesterday on Tuesday the 14th. And I didn't really see that decreasing too much today or, net put premium changing too much. But yeah, we'll have to look at the data and stuff. And so anyways, looking at the chart behind me, this is of course the SPX or the S&P 500. And we did get, a little bit of a bounce from yesterday, but we did, close lower than we opened. So that's why we see the red candle there, but up about 0.4% on the day. This does make me feel like we could be pulling back a little bit. So it looks like over here, I don't know if you guys can see it, but S&P 500 closes higher today on the 15th, lifted by strong bank earnings, and so that is coming from the Wall Street Journal. But yeah, let's kind of dive into some charts and see what's going on. If you do have any requests, let me know, and or just thoughts about the market in general, since I'm kind of aloof right now. But yep, wanted to stream, so let's do it. Just for half an hour, going over some charts, seeing what's going on. And so let's just look over at the VIX. This pulling back a little bit, and so I do see Ricardo is in there in the chat, so I'm just going to pull up his thing. I can read it in the chat, but it's actually a little bit easier for me to read if I pull up on the screen, so I'm just going to do that. Hopefully this works. Yeah. DJ, what's up? Jivo made a nice move yesterday after hours, but attacked by bears. What does my TA say? So yeah, I'll just look over VIX real quick. This closed again today above 20. So what we could be seeing, and actually, it'd be nice if there was some volume on this, but there is no volume, as we can see, no volume data. And so I might look over at the UVIX. This is just one that I follow. It's 2x, or actually maybe I could do something like this. This VIX, is there volume on that? There's no volume on that. So just looking over at the UVIX real quick. 2x long VIX futures ETF. I was just curious if this is looking kind of like a bull flag, big move up, kind of getting rejected by that moving average, the 50-day there, with volume not really being so crazy, still holding up. So this could be suggesting that we'll be seeing some more volatility, and this could be spiking up. But looking over here at the VIX, we'd actually been trading above the 50-day moving average over here. So maybe that was kind of a signal that, there were all of these attempts to get above it, some attempts to break out, but, ultimately getting rejected. But then this consolidation period above that 50-day SMA led to, a 31.69% move last Friday. So maybe that was some signal there, trading above the 50-day SMA. So yeah, pretty interesting. But also we do see, some big wicks here to the upside. So maybe the volatility does calm down. But yeah, I will pull up, let's see, Jivo real quick. And yeah, I think like whenever there's after hours moves that are really exciting, yeah, this to me looks like it's topping. The reason for that is, let's see, just remove the drawings for a minute. This is, not an all-time high, but it's been a while since it's been up here. And what you see is big wick to the upside and downside. So you could say, there's a little bit of indecision there, but the wick is much bigger to the top side than the downside. And you also have a ton of volume behind it. And that ton of volume resulted in a very small spread in the candle and actually, closing lower than it opened. So even with this much volume, buyers attempting to push it higher, it was met by, a pretty strong wall of sellers that actually brought the price down. So this looks to me like it's probably going to pull back 50 SMA right around 186. And taking a step back, we can see the high over here was around $3. I imagine I probably talked about that. I got a level, drawn over there. So yeah, I mean, this is really just this inverse head and shoulders pattern, except, we would want to do it like that. And so I could see it pulling back to around $2. So from $3 to $2, or where it closed at 259, could be pulling back to $2. I would not be surprised at all by that. So that is what I would think. You'd also kind of get into a good amount of support around $2 because you have like the high on August 13th, that was 215. And you can see where that cursor is, that dotted line or dashed line corresponds with like the highs over here. So I think that it would likely be pulling back to 2 before continuing higher. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pull up prior videos and see what I said, but I imagine just based on the lines that I've drawn here, the 100% move, that I probably talked about 3. So I think it's totally reasonable. And I think I could be wrong about it, but I think that it could be pulling back to 2. So yeah, the high for the day was 295. And maybe since you mentioned the after hours and stuff, might pull up the 1 hour chart. And I'm just going to remove my drawings so we don't have a bunch of clutter. And then just looking at this over here, yeah, so we see the after hours, it spiked up to a high of 330. And where the cursor is, you see some wicks going above there, but no real closes above there. And that's around 293. So yeah, and so the blue is going to be the after hours. The yellow is going to be the pre-market. And so, yeah, I'm not too surprised by that. So hopefully my analysis previously was helpful in recognizing that 3 might be a level that I get rejected at. So, yeah, and let's see, just going to follow up with Ricardo on that. He's saying, right on the money, thanks. Yeah, no problem, you're welcome. And one of the things that I find really interesting about stuff like this is, like for NEO, for example, maybe we want to look at the NEO chart in a minute. But I got a lot of pushback on that because like I made a video talking about a squeeze because I thought that it seemed like that was happening, but then it just got so many views, more than typical. And then I just kind of, well, maybe that's euphoria. And then I saw some data that looked pretty questionable in the options data. And I made a video about that, suggesting that price could be pulling back. And I got some backlash on that. And, it's like, it goes up to 3 or, whatever the stock price is, like NEO target was like around 8. I sold out a majority of my position at 7. And, it's tough to do that. And it's especially when, you interact with people online that you kind of form a bond over the same stock. But it's like, is your goal to hold the stock forever or is your goal to make money? And so like at 3 would have been tough to trim at. But if it comes back at 2, then you can buy, I'm not going to do the mental math, but, if you sell $1,000 here, or let's say if you sell, $1,000, you could buy like, 1,300, shares or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm tired. It's been a long day. But if you sell up here, then you could buy back here, and you could buy back more shares or the same amount of shares, but with less risk. So, but yeah, always tough to do. Taking profits is a very tricky part of trading. And so I'm just going to pull up Chris's comment here. How about that huge dip on Beyond? The degenerate gambler in me started to salivate. Beyond just diluted. Okay, so I was not aware of that. But I will pull up the Beyond chart, and I might also, maybe, please don't judge some of the stuff that I post on X is a little bit trashy. I'm going to do some notifications. Some of it's just me having fun. Some of it's maybe, a little controversial or whatever. Look at this card, Daniel W. Very nice. I was asking him if he had had any of his Cardsmith's cards graded, and that's just a super cool one. But yeah, let's see. I had a comment that was pretty funny, and that's this one. And so, I said, that's in the fridge. They get bigger when they warm up or get excited. And that's referring to this. Yeah, so the store should not have been, carrying the sweet Italian sausages upright. They should have been flat, and gravity, caused some shrinkage there. So yeah, that's fun. 2,000 views for me. Or wait, no, this comment, yeah, got 2,000 views, 60 likes, but 2,000 views is a pretty good amount for me. But yeah, let's look at the Beyond chart. Let's see what's going on. I'm actually going to note the tickers that I am going over. So the SPX, and I did the VIX and the UVIX. Also went over GVO, and then now BYND. So let's pull that up. Beyond Meat. And yeah, and in all honesty, like I've had Beyond Burgers and Beyond Sausages, and my view as, I think it's good to have alternative to meat, whether it's because you're vegetarian or just because you don't want to be, whatever, like eating meat, but don't need to all the time. And, the Beyond Burgers, in my view, they're not as good as a regular burger. The Beyond Sausages, I feel like they're a fine alternative to a regular sausage. But sausages, to begin with, I like them. I like a bratwurst. And they're kind of gross to begin with. And so I think Beyond does an all right job with them. But yeah, let's just look at this chart. I remember when this was over here, and now it's just kind of come down. And I think that really, like, if if you have, whether it's ethical or environmental concerns about meats, and so you want to go beyond, or you're vegetarian or whatever, I understand that. But at the same time, one of the things that I've like noticed with my own personal health is just like I try not to eat processed foods, or not to eat too many processed foods. And so when you get into stuff that's like vegetarian or vegan, that's trying to mimic meat, I feel like how that food is treated to become meat-like is, your body's not going to digest that too well. So that's like a concern that I have with this stuff. But anyways, let's see, massive gap down. I mean, I think that just looking at this chart, I think this is a dud. I'm sorry. Yeah, because, it's just too easy. But yeah, because, yeah, and like look at this volume too. Like, when has there ever been that much volume traded on the stock? Right there. That is insane. And what was the result from that volume? It's like micro moves with that much volume. Part of the reason why is because you have so much volume, but because the share price is so low, 67 cents, that you're going to have a lot of volume associated with that because it's just so cheap and the market cap's so small. But yeah, with this, what you see here, zooming in, massive gap down, rejection from the 50-day, and gap down, bounce. So that's, potentially good, but now gap down below that. And so now the low over here, so it's like there are multiple levels. This gap, well, I guess I should do that around the close from that day, which the close was at 285, so right around there. And then, another one here, the low from there, and then also, basically over here. So you just got like three levels that like really kind of stand out. And also you could also think of it as, the tops over here. There's just like so many levels that are going to be potential resistance. And you see all of this massive volume relative to what's been in the past. And you just see this fading. It doesn't matter how much money you throw at this, all of this volume, lots of effort, it's going to bleed. And, maybe there's a volatile move from 67 cents up to 127, and that's a nice swing, which would be, 85% swing. Very nice. But maybe this goes down to, 0. And then, so yeah, it's also very oversold, but that doesn't mean that like over here it was very oversold and it started to go up some, but from like the lows here to the highs here, 40%. But then, putting that in perspective, 80% down. So I think that this is pretty risky. And so let's see, I'm just going to follow up with the Chris, I think, was laughing at my little shrinkage tweet there. But yeah, I mean, if this is something that's like um, a long-term hold or something, yeah, I mean, it's just like there's nothing suggesting that a bottom's in because it's like, you could look at it from over here. Like, let's say, let's just do a little ray here. It's like, let's see, how do we want to do this? Maybe go over here. I don't know. But yeah, it's like this was a discount and then it goes higher and then it tests that and then it goes higher. That's great. And then it pulls back to it, goes higher. That's great. But, it's just ended up going down. And so now it's like, okay, we could draw another trend line. Like from there to there. And now it's like broken below that. So I think it's just like it's like just going to continue to spiral. You're going to keep adding these. And they're just going to get, it's more and more hopium. So we could do like one from here to here. And then, a week later, we could do one from here to here. And then it's eventually, this may be kind of comical, but then it's eventually, just going to be like that, So, yeah, I think that this is pretty risky. And I guess, yeah, you said that they just did a split or reverse split approximate earnings coming up. I don't know. Maybe I don't have that stuff on the chart, but let's see. Events. I should have splits on there, but it's not showing up for whatever reason. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this is just going to keep trending lower. And at some point, I feel like there has to be, whatever it is, there has to be a line in the sand. And yeah, and so like recently I've been trimming out of a position I've lost conviction in, and it sucks, but it's like the whatever loss, it's better than 100% loss. And just the market cap, $51 million. So yeah, I mean, this is something that I feel like had a lot of potential back here. But yeah, and especially if like people's budgets are getting a little bit tighter and stuff, are they going to go for the Beyond Burger where you get a 2-pack and, it's like the amount that it would cost to get like 4 burger patties, beef patties. So I think that, it's like somebody who doesn't eat meat, yeah, they would probably go with this. But somebody who does eat meat, they would not opt for this if it's going to be more expensive. So yeah, sorry to be a negative Nancy, but I think it's just going to keep trending lower. And with the price so low, like yeah, 67 cents. And actually, I'm gonna grok this. Let's see. Does Beyond Meat have a reverse split scheduled soon? Because I'm surprised, like if they've already had one and they're trading at 67 cents, that seems a little puzzling. So, yeah. Come on, Grok. I don't need expert. I just want fast. So I'll add BYND to help Grok out. So just give me something fast, Grok. Let's see what you have to think about that. Grok might, I don't know if something's going on. But yeah, we'll have to come back to that and see what Grok has to say. But yeah, I'll pull up some more of the chat. And Ricardo, this is going to be regarding Jivo. too greedy and didn't trim at 3. Oops, it happens. But yeah, I mean, I think like for me, what I like to do is, and I've done this with some of my cryptos, like following what happened on the 10th, is I just have some limit orders placed because sometimes they spike up and either I'm asleep or at work and they spike back down. And then it's just like if I have the limit order placed, then it's just like no sweat, no worries. Um, and let's see, Ricardo's also saying Wendy's. Oh, we want Wendy's. Yum yum. No need to look up Wendy's. Okay, cool. No position there. Sounds good. And oh, but Chris does want to see Wendy's, so I might have to pull it up. Have position in Wendy's 8.99 yesterday. Wendy's hit 8.55 and then rebounded back up to 9.10 today. So yeah, I'll look at the Wendy's chart, and then we can see if Grok has a response for us regarding Beyond. Yeah, so this looks really cool. I talked about this, I believe, yesterday, that yellow line. Wicked up to it, rejected. In the after hours, pulled back. So, I mean, it could just be pulling back to like 870, and that's really just going to be corresponding with, like the kind of overlap of these 3 candles at the bottom. And so that could be a level that it bounces at, but it could also, break below that and then start putting in new lows. So yeah, that was a level to trim around $9, but maybe it goes higher. Yeah, I don't know. You do you. And let's see what Grok has to say. Ricardo's pulling up some stuff about Beyond, so I'll pull that up and we can look at Grok. Grok was unable to reply. So let's see. Maybe I just need to refresh this page. Conversation not found. Yeah. So let's see. Let's come over here. Did Beyond Meat recently have a reverse split, and or is one coming up? BYND. Not sure. I don't know. And like, I don't know if you guys have had some internet issues, but I was talking with a friend at work. He's playing PlayStation. They had some issues with connectivity. Some of the software that we use at work has been pretty slow. Grok apparently is being pretty slow. So I wonder if there's something going on that's, a little bit puzzling. So yeah, Grok is going slow. But yeah, Beyond seems like it's prime for a reverse split. Seems very risky. Pseudo meat. Yeah, so I don't think Grok is going to be helping us. So let's just Google this. So Beyond Meat. Let's see, investor relations. Always a good place to go. So we can go here. And let's see, news and events, stock information, or annual reports. Let's go to news and events. Let's just go over here to, let's see, early tender results and early settlement exchange offer. Let's see, exchange second quarter. So maybe we would want Beyond Meat announces early tender results, settlement exchange, often consolidation with respect to existing convertible notes. So this is from a couple days ago. Let's see. I wish that Grok was working because then, I wouldn't have to. That's the benefit of Grok. You can just get kind of a. So I see something about October 15th, early settlement date. So let's read about that. The tendered notes represent 96.92% of the aggregate outstanding principal amount of existing convertible notes. As a result, the company also announced that it will consummate the early settlement with respect to the tendered notes. The early settlement, which is expected to occur on October 15th, the early settlement date, with the second business day immediately following the early tender date. And so let's see. We are pleased to announce this early settlement of the exchange offer to existing convertible notes. And so what I might do is just from this, I'm just going to search split. So split's not here. Dilution, no. So aggregate principal amount of existing convertible notes. Yeah, so I'm not going to dive too deep into this because I think it will be very boring, and yeah, I need more time to get better information to you guys about that. And so let's come back to here. And Chris is saying that Beyond is certainly more risky than Wendy's. Yeah, I mean, it also all depends on your time frame and stuff. But Wendy's, I feel like tried and true, they're going to be around for a while. So even if this does, I think kind of the argument that I was making is that I think I need to go over here is that it would spend a lot of time like consolidating here before starting to go back up. So this would just be like a time suck. But I think that it would go back up. It's Wendy's. Who doesn't like a junior bacon cheeseburger? I like them. I also like their honey mustard sauce, bowl of chili. I don't know if you guys remember when Wendy's used to have a salad bar, but they don't anymore. But yeah, so I think that this could long term, be fine. But I think that a couple years from now, yeah, I think I had drawn this out. This is like 2029 or something over here when it could start to. Oh yeah, what I did. I know what I did with this. So let's just go, remove the drawings for a second. I'm just going to go to weekly. And I think that, I did this bar pattern. And I just move that over. And yeah, I kind of suggested that could be happening. And, maybe it's from the top here, or maybe it's from like the pivot highs here. And then it could be coming down, to $3 a share. And then it wouldn't start to get back up to here until like, actually it's 2031, which is insane. So yeah, this could be just a huge time suck, opportunity cost. Beyond could be going to zero, very realistically, could be getting delisted. So both of these very risky. And so then let's see. Sounds like gotcha. Sounds like price target is zero for Beyond. I don't know. I mean, like I've held enough stocks that have gone to zero, not a ton, but like Fisker and some others. I think there was a biopharmaceutical one, Biora, and whether they go to zero or they just get delisted, and then it's just like then they're just taking all your money, so your position ends up going to zero, but they take that money. So yeah, I mean it's a stock market, and um, just because something is down doesn't mean it's going to go back up. But like Wendy's, I think that they'll survive. I'd imagine so. Yeah, because they've been mixing up their frosties and stuff like that. I don't know, making little Sunday type things. And oh yeah, let's see, lots of chat here. Grok is taking a nap for sure. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Retry. I think that there's just some outages with maybe some data centers or something. I wonder if actually we could, I could search stuff for it. Let's see, explore, trending, Supreme Court. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Ooh, wonder what's going on with him. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I don't know, news for me. Or news here. Yeah, so I don't know if stuff's slowing down. But yeah, Diamond like. Thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, make sure you like the stream. And yeah, of course, you're welcome, Chris. And then Humbert, let's see, Humberto del Gedin. Humbert. I'm just going to say Humbert. Hopefully that's okay. Beyond Meat diluted the float, selling shares at the market. Yeah, I think it seems like it's a rough one. So BYND. And yeah, so it's breaking down. And then let's see. Have emitted notes. Yeah, Fisker, I see that in the chat. Convertible notes at the, yeah, so they're diluting. And burger versus the anti-burger play, and the anti-tendy, and the anti-sausage, and Fisker. Yeah, and there were some warning signs with Fisker, and so now it's like, I feel like for me, I'm much more, I feel like risk off with positions. If I see something like this, it's just like, yeah, GTFO. I'm not going to entertain it at all. I mean, you do whatever you want, but this is not something because there's no sign that it's bottoming. If it started to consolidate, flatten out, things seem like they're changing, yeah, maybe, but this doesn't seem like that. And this could be one that goes to zero. And were there warning signs? Let's see, were there warning signs? Let me just see. Yeah, there were warning signs right here. So, I don't know. Sweet Italian, more like, I don't know, flat Italian, deflated Italian. So, yep. And then suckered into BBBY, Bed Bath & Beyond, and yeah, 6,000. Yep. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys remember Lordstown Motors. They did like pickup trucks, and they had like motors inside the wheel hubs. And so that seemed like very interesting. But yeah, I mean, that went to zero. And so, yeah, I don't know. And like my headspace has been more in like crypto, and like mining, treasury companies, AI, and like Mike Alfred. I think that he's a really great person to follow. He has some really good ideas. And let's see, AI is programs to don't speak about finance and market. Oh, or the program to, yeah. I mean, it would pull up that data though. Grok would do that, but if you ask Grok for like technical analysis, you could have something that says like 50 SMA, 50 day, or like volume, or whatever it is, and it would always get things confused. So just like very bad at reading. If you have the 50 SMA and the 200 SMA, and it would get them confused, stuff like that. So, but if there's like data online regarding a reverse split, it would know about that. DVLT, man, how's it happening? I don't know what DVLT means, because I've looked up the sticker or the ticker, DVLT. Oh, Data Vault. Yeah, okay. I think that maybe there was a typo before, and yeah, Data Vault. So let's see. From this, I've got this retracement here. It's not locked into place. What I would do, because I'm clearly wrong about this arrow, but actually I might pull up the arrow. Maybe it'll be useful. I would then just pull this up to here, and we got, a retest of the 50%. So maybe we could just move this arrow, and I wish I could like stretch it, but I can't. But I would say I would stretch it like that. So yeah, I mean, I think that the bottom could very well be in there around 168. Hit the lows on the 13th, so this past Monday, 161. And so I think that this could be getting past. I mean, well, the thing that you'd want to see, the thing that you want to see is how it responds to the high over here. So from the 7th, that high was at 310 or 39, whatever. And you want to see if you can get closes up there, but I suspect that you'd probably see some resistance around here first, around 270. And so see if it starts to get rejected there as it was over here. If it can start to close above 270, then maybe there's a shot at it getting above 310, starting to close above there, and then it would continue. So that's what I would look for. But I see a lot of stuff in the chat, and I've been streaming for more than half an hour, so I'm going to get going here in a minute. But just pulling up some of the last chats. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you're welcome, says Abdul. Thank you for all the analysis. What's going on with NEO this week? Out of obligation, I definitely have to pull up NEO. So, I mean, my stance, I'm kind of contemplating doing a follow-up video. But like my thesis on NEO really hasn't changed. And that is, I don't necessarily think it's coming down to 550 as I had talked about in the most recent video. You should be able to, in the description of this stream, you should be able to find the most recent NEO video that I've done. But I'm just going to zoom out a little bit, and then I can scroll down to 13 days ago. I thought I had done something. Yeah, so I mean, I just check out that video. It's 40 minutes long, but I think that would give this yellow one here. That would give my pretty nice overview of my thoughts on NEO. But we can look up some data here. These are some of the contracts that either let's see, these are bookmarks. So yeah, I mean, these are just ones that I watch. I'm just going to refresh this. Sometimes it gets a little bit wonky. It's sorted by A to Z, so we can see these NEO contracts. The one that I hold is a $10 strike call that expires in June, and it's not in the money, but it's very green for me, so I'm just chilling with that one. These other ones, to be honest, I'm not really sure why I have them up there. I think they were traded pretty heavily. Open interest for the 350 call that expires in November, the monthly open interest 21,000, but not changing a lot recently. The $5.50 call that also expires in November, open interest 20,000, and then the one that I hold, open interest 90,000. It's been growing a little bit, increasing a little bit, but really, I mean, what we want to see is just the expanded view here, the net call and put premium. This gives me, a little bit of insight into what might be going on behind the scenes. So yellow, we see the stock price coming down, and counter to that coming down, we see the red, that is the net put premium, that went up today, and it went up by $852,000. So that's suggesting it's bearish. What could be bullish is the net call premium that actually went negative in green down here, as you can see, down by $442,000. And if we look at the bear bull slider just for today, that suggests 52% on the bearish side. If we look back the past 7 days, we can see that there was some call premium going up. So 7.9 million on Monday the 13th. And then yesterday, up by 3.5 million. So that does seem kind of good. And that also puts it into perspective. Like if we just look at this for today, net put premiums going up. That doesn't look so good. But relative to the past 3 days, so Monday, Tuesday, and today, it doesn't really stand out too much. That net put premium going up by less than $1 million doesn't really stand out to the net call premium going up over here. But if we do look back, 14 days, it probably won't be included. But if we look at the past 30 days, I think it should be. And so we see the net call premium where the cursor is that I just talked about going up $7.9 million. That seems bullish. But then we have these two dumps. Net call premium decreasing by $13 million and then decreasing by $9 million. And those drops in net call premium were within like the last 15 minutes of trading each day. And so that just struck me as, nefarious. Stock price goes up a little bit more, but I just feel like it could be cooling off. And so like my thesis is that basically the top is in. It's going to follow this inverse head and shoulders pattern, which is big picture bullish, but shorter time frame, that suggests that it could be coming down to around where the yellow line is, 518. But maybe it only comes down to 6. Maybe it goes down below 5. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, I think that this is just going to cool off. So I've contemplated, my NEO videos perform very well. I get a lot of views. I don't make too much money on videos. But the NEO ones, they perform very well. And again, it's not like a ton of money or anything, but it's incentive for me to want to do another video. But it's like, but I don't want to do another video because I've laid out my thesis that I think it's pulling back, whether that's to 550 or somewhere around there, before it goes to 10. I've done this. I've stated that I think that the top is in here for the short term. I think it's pulling back before it goes higher. So there's not much to say on that. I could do a video on it, get hundreds, maybe 1,000 people to watch, make a little bit of money, but it there's nothing there. I've already laid out my thesis. And then also, if I do look at this on the log scale, we just broke out of this really big downtrending channel. And so I think that there's a lot of great potential long term, but short term, I think it's going to be selling off. And nobody wants to hear that. People get really upset about that. And it's like, okay, well, I put out the thesis, so that's what it is. So yeah, hopefully that's a helpful follow-up. But and I could totally be wrong. Maybe this doesn't come back to 6. But yeah, and let's see. I'm just going to remove my drawings and we can just kind of look at more of the, so here, volume was pretty big over here and it just, price didn't move that much, but there's a bottom. It was absorbed, it goes up. Now it's consolidating. Volumes come down some. So maybe this gets a surge in volume and it breaks out. But I feel like that this is probably going to break below the 50 SMA. Show some signs of weakness, kind of like over here, but then that actually being a nice dip buying opportunity. So I'm waiting for that. And I personally, I've sold all my shares. I have the one call, so I'm long, but it's a small position, very little risk. But I had an order placed for dip buy at $6, but I decided I'm going to remove it and I'll just see what happens. And, if it comes down to 6, then maybe I'd consider. But yeah, I think it's just kind of a time suck now, an opportunity cost. And so just following up here with Chris, red meat beats green meat and gas beats EVs. I think that EVs will end up beating out gas. But for the time being, I think that, they're both good. It's all about diversification. But if you want to eat meat, you're going to get a piece of meat. If you want a salad, you're going to get a salad. You're not going to get a fake piece of meat. And also this is, I'm close to a vegetarian who has kind of presented the idea of fake meat as well, why would I want to eat fake meat? I don't like eating regular meat. I'd rather just eat a portobello burger or something, or some eggplant, or so it's vegetarians, they're not craving that. Or if they are, just cheat a little, have a burger every once in a while, no big deal. And Ricardo's saying, thanks for the live streams. Of course, yeah, it's fun. Always good to have a chat after work and some charts for sure. Yeah, and I think it's good for me to go over this. NEO is one that I wanted to go over. There are some others that I did want to go over, but I probably won't get to because I got to end this. I got to get to some work outside. But want NEO to come back to 3. So yeah, and so that's NEO coming back to 3. I think that would actually be if it came back to 3. So the low of the head over here was 3. So if it came back to 3, that would kind of be invalidating the inverse head and shoulders. And so I think that would actually be not so good. So I would think I would want it to hold lowest around 5. And if it does break lower, then I think that that's kind of looking bearish. And we can just do a little fib retracement here just to get an idea. And yeah, the 618's 490. So I think that around $5 would be the area to really buy back. I think 4 would just be, that would be showing too much weakness if it had that much of a pullback. And, maybe 4 would be a good price to buy, but maybe it's not a good time to buy. It'd spend a lot of time around 4 before actually, getting it back up to 8 or something. And then Chris has Tilray, and this is going to be my last ticker because I got to get going. But yeah, I'll pull up Tilray real quick, and I am just going to note NEO and Tilray. And so over here, let's see. Yeah, this is kind of pulling back. So this is why I had an order to buy 100 shares, nothing crazy, but 100 shares at 150. Didn't get filled. The low over here was 151. And the thesis was that there would be a move from 150 to 2. A few days later, that thesis played out. And so then it would be okay, now I need to revisit the chart and have a different kind of thesis. But after such a move, I think it'd probably cool off and come back to 150. And if we look up, let's see, I'm just going to go to unusual whales and go to the flow feed. just going to clear this and type in Tilray so we can see it. Whatever. Man, yeah, everything's going slow. Let's see, Tilray. All right, so whatever contract, don't really care. I just want to look at the net call and put premium and what we can see past 14 days. So they stock price up here, went up to like over $2. And so I could probably do this going back just, yeah, an actual, let's see. I think looking at the data here, there wasn't like a huge dump in net call premium. Like over here, the most negative the net call premium was on the 10th when it's like panic in the markets. Net call premium came down by $841,000, whereas over here, where the cursor is, it went up by 3.23 million. Over here, it went up by 2 million. So millions of dollars going up. Also over here went up by 3.42 million. So this is, saying, hey, people are going long and they haven't really started to go short. So I would think that there is some potential for us to see the next rally higher. Let's look over at the Greeks, though. This is what I wanted to see. Max Payne for the foreseeable future is 150. So I got the chat up there, so I'm just going to remove that so you can see. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's 150 all the way down up until December 19th. Then it's 50 cents. So what I would view with this, and actually I'm just going to look at insider trading just because I can see what that's here. Insider transactions, I should say. No big sells or buys or anything. It's just tax stuff, exercise stuff. So nothing stands out really. But yeah, I mean, from this, let's see. So I would think of this as, like what was the low for today? The low was 157. And from the low here, I'm going to do another Fibonacci retracement. And so I'm going to do it from that low, which I know is at 151. And then the high over here, market hours high, was 232. And so I'm just going to line that up. And so it's done a nearly full retracement, getting a couple closes below the 786 at around 169. And so I think that this could be getting ready for the next leg up, because the options data doesn't suggest that everything was offloaded here. And we can also look up, I'm just going to look up chart guys. And so I'd encourage you guys to follow chart guys if you do like cannabis stocks and whatnot, because he does cover them, does some really nice videos. And so what he's saying from 4 hours ago, no idea what the news is for MSOS, which is, I believe, I don't think that's the leveraged ETF for cannabis, but then also Tilray, but longed them on volume, out half, leave the runners. Runners stops hit just back to original swing runners from long ago. So he's swinging them. Let's see, Tilray, he's just posting this stuff, which is these are sell orders. So he sold a lot of positions. These were swings, and filled at whether Tilray around 177, 178, 168, and MSOS. So some stuff there. No news. Had to short Tilray after selling the longs, but he's swing trading and stuff. So. Let's see. So that's, very dynamic. So, I would say follow up with him, follow him on X to get his perspective. He's, he's a professional trader. I'm, as Mike Alfred referred to me, as a kid trader or a kid analyst, I believe, kid analyst. But yeah, I could see this. But I guess there's a little bit of a concern, volume's increasing here, and you're not seeing too much of a response. This could be rolling over, but that net call premium not being sold off kind of makes me think it could be getting up for the next leg higher. But yeah, Joe Bro, I am sorry to say I'm not going to be going over any more tickers, but just in case you guys are all curious, proud of those NVTS holders, sold to at a good price. Congrats the ones that hold. I'll pull up the chart, but I'm not going to go over any analysis on it. I believe I saw this from the Bronx Viking talking about this. Maybe it was somebody else. But I saw that there was a very big move, a nice move. So yeah, congrats to Joe Bro for taking profits. Always tough to do. And whenever you take profits, it's like it's always going to go higher. You could always make more money. But the fact of the matter is that you did make money. So congrats to you. Congrats for sticking to your thesis and making some money, and for cheering on those who still have conviction, want to hold long, or those who want to sell, whatever it is. We are on each other's side, retail, here together, and we want to be seeing each other make money. So congrats to everybody. What we can see, lots of volume here, and that volume not really cooling off. So I could see this continue to go higher, but we also do see the RSI here at like 89.26. So that's very overbought. So I could see a little bit of a cool off, and I have problems because I said I wasn't going to do this. But yeah, I mean, I could see 50% retracement, maybe to 1150. And maybe people are tempted to see this gap get filled, but it doesn't get filled and they get left behind. So I feel like 1150 could maybe be a nice entry point if it does pull back some to get a little bit of a discount, better than chasing right now. And Bruce is saying that Navitas printed him some money as well. So congrats to you. Ricardo, you are welcome. Yeah, I got to get things done. I've sanded a bunch of siding. I've got to patch some of it. Then I've got to resand it again, and I've got to prime it before winter comes on. Benjamin asking about Mara. Since I hold it and I have an interest in it, what are my thoughts on it? I think it's really kind of like the premium data makes me think it could be going higher, but that trend line that I drew in yesterday's stream makes me think it's at some resistance. I did have a limit sell order for my call today that was not filled, but it was nearly filled. I think my level was hit. So I had, for the $50 strike call that expires in January, I had a limit sell at 137 because my average price is 37 cents. So I would have made $100 on that one call, and I still have 4 more remaining to hold. But that didn't get filled, even though the high for that contract was 137. I didn't get a fill. That is how it is. And yeah, so I mean, what I could see happening is, I mean, there's lower volume here. Let's just pull up the contract. So this is the contract that I hold. The high, we can see here, 137. And actually I'm going to remove your comment or your chat just so I could see it. 137 was the high. I didn't get a fill. And we can see net call premium is actually down for the day by about $5.3 million. And if we expand this and then look back the past few days, insider Khan Salam Hassan sold some today. So we can look at the insider transactions in a minute. I think that is probably going to pull back to 20. Net call premium went up yesterday by $14 million. It came back today, about a third of that, down by $5 million. So that suggests that it could be pulling back some, but longer term, I think it's probably still going to go higher. And yeah, I mean, what I might want to do, to be honest, is I might want to trim some more of my calls tomorrow with the plan of buying back. But yeah, we can see that Doug Mellinger, I'm not sure what his role is, but he sold a position worth $20.7 thousand, and he sold that on the 7th. And then today on the 15th, you can see, so this is the filing date, which it happens to also be the trade date. Khan Salman, sorry, I'm mispronouncing his name, the CFO, he sold $790,000 worth today. So I think that's a sign that it could be selling off or at least pulling back. If we look over at the Greeks to look at Max Payne around $18, $19, I think it's going to be pulling back. So I don't have any orders placed, but what I might do is trim back on my calls, still holding shares. I might sell, I have 5 of them. I might sell 4. We can see for this contract, the This contract, the $50 strike call for January 16th, it ended the day, around 123. That's what I see on my phone. So what I'm probably going to do, like if I were to place a sell order right now, it would be like 118. And so what I might do is I might sell 4 of them around where it's at, and then I think it's going to pull back. I think that the chart, the data, the insider selling, is telling me that it's probably going to pull back to 20, and it might even go lower than that, like to 18 as Max Payne suggests. So that is what I would say. Bruce, HOND, moved like crazy today as well. Congrats to those who hold it. I'm not going to go over it because I got to draw the line. I'm going for 55 minutes, and I meant to do it for just 30. Worst nightmare. Sorry you're late. Yeah, just watch from the beginning. I've gone over some interesting ones. I would say some that look like big duds, like, Wendy's. Oh, yeah. I did not put Wendy's down here. I forget when I went over it. But yeah, Wendy's and beyond, I think those look like duds. Gevo, I think it's coming into some levels that could be pulling back to, I believe. I talked about Neo and, kind of my thesis is that it's going to pull back some, but macro bullish, Tilray pull back some, and then Mara. I've got to note Mara here. So yeah, we might be seeing a little bit of a pullback in some things. So it might be a good time, like a Mara. I think, if long-term perspective, I think it'll do well. But if wanting to swing, like I'm kind of inclined to swing because then I have more capital to then buy dips, whether that's with Mara or others, because I do have some calls in IBIT that are pretty down. But this also does seem like it's, pulled back to this triple bottom. And so it could be a nice discount. Like looking over at Bitcoin over here. But this also could be like a bear flag and it breaks lower. So might be good time if wanting to just manage risk, trim a little bit. So I'll probably be trimming the calls, but I'm just going to be holding my shares because I don't have a big share position. And then I can just kind of like chill with them. Whereas the contracts, they expire, But yeah, so thank you all so much for joining. Even if you're late a little bit, this stuff is online. And yeah, I got to get outside before it gets dark and too cold. But as always, those are just my thoughts. And if you did find them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below or the chat if you're able to join live. Appreciate you all being here. Appreciate your requests. And make sure you subscribe. I will be putting out, and maybe I'll pull it up over here. I will be putting out a Power Packs. This is interesting. And so this one is maybe a little bit unfair, but... So what I'm probably going to do, it's possible I'll do this, but what I think I'm going to do tonight is I might do one starter pack, maybe collect it, one silver, probably not collect it, and then one starter and maybe collect that. And if I don't have any collections at that point, then maybe I do another starter or another silver at the end. It really just depends. I've turned $100 into about $147, and so I want to keep that growing if that's feasible. And I want to also explore adding cards to my collection so then I can list them via Buy It Now on eBay via, the Power Packs portal. And so I'll be doing that video tonight after I get some work done outside. And yeah, so I want to explore different ways to sell the cards just so that makes it more accessible for other people to explore Power Packs and also see about making money. And if I do have extra money in there, I might start withdrawing some. So I've net put in $100. Maybe I'll withdraw $10 or maybe $25. And then my risk is less and I can just continue to have fun. So I'm just trying to do that, buy cards, sell them, flip them, and have fun. So make sure you check that video out. I'll have to edit it. Hopefully I can have it out tonight, but I'll be recording it tonight at least. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next stream tomorrow. I'll probably be a little bit more organized for it. But yeah, thank you for joining for kind of the chaotic stream. I'll see you guys later.